Alright guys, so the video I'm making today is talk about stringing to the inside and two different methods and the pros and cons to each. So just to start, let's talk about the two methods. This one, I'm going to call it the Sidewall Jedi. It's where you wrap the string around the front to pull it to the inside here. And the other is one that I'm going to call the weaved method. So as you can see, the string is there's no wrapping around the front here. It's all kind of protected a little bit more. So there's advantages and disadvantages to each. Both do a great job of getting you a really channeled head that can still have this one a little bit more. This is kind of like a pretty classic mid pocket, but the channeling to me is what you'd get if you were stringing a lower pocket. And so this is the frequency speed. This is the frequency universal. Hooked up, Universal Cross hooked me up with these. I'm going to be doing some content for them. Anyway, so let's talk about this one because this is the first way that I really saw to do it by Sidewall Jedi. And this way is pretty simple. You can string almost, pretty close to the way that you normally do, but instead of going from the outside and wrapping it to the inside, you go from the inside, wrap it to the outside. So the advantage to this is you only need one stringing hole per knot, which is really nice. I did a double there, but don't worry about that. Yeah, I think it's the simplest translation from traditional mesh stringing. The disadvantage for me here is it's a lot of exposed string, which I found hasn't been too big a problem recently. With the players that I've done it for have coated the string with clear nail polish, and that's helped. But just logic tells me that these strings are more likely to break than if they weren't there, you know? And also, when you have a sidewall brace in the way, you can't do it, which isn't that big a deal. Normally, you have to work around it, but this is a really great way to do it. And I think that you get a great pocket if you do it this way. But the way that I've been trying to do a lot of mine, and you can see I did that. If you want to see how to do it this way more specifically, I did a tutorial on how to do a mirage, and you can just apply those techniques to any head. So go back and check that out. Now this one I did a Mark 2D Mark 2D tutorial. I'm going to call this the weave. I've said this. I'm going to call this the weave method. And what's going on here is I kind of have to use two holes to make a knot. I wish I didn't do all white. But, so that just leads into the first disadvantage of this method, which is, unless you're doing a Mark II, having to use two holes for every knot is a little bit constraining. Sometimes, like here, I use, if the holes are big enough, like I did it with a hammer. You can see I don't think I made a video for it, but on my Instagram I did a hammer to the inside this way. If the holes are big enough, you can reuse it. It just takes a little bit more ingenuity or creativity maybe to get the pocket you want. But the advantage being, one, the sidewall braces do not ever get in the way, but also there just isn't the same amount of exposed string. You still have this here, which can definitely get hit when you're catching the ball. But I think that this way maybe could have a little bit more durability, but I don't want to say that for sure, because I don't have enough testing on it. That's kind of how it's feeling now. But either way, I really recommend doing it this way. Getting a balls width channel basically every time in a used spec head. And this one's not a low pocket. This one's kind of lower, but this is not a low pocket. To still have a channel like this, to me, is pretty awesome. Yeah, so if you have any questions about it, put them down in the comments. I'll try and answer. I could try and make more videos about it. You can check out Sidewall Jedi. He's made some videos, I think, and Big Sam. Check those guys out. They're doing really great things with stringing it to the inside, but it's just kind of proof that no matter how they change the rules of the heads and the stringing and all that, that The ingenuity of stringers kind of always ends up getting back to the same pocket, or the same function of the pocket, which is really cool. And that's what's kind of fun about the whole thing. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, guys.